We're talking the economics of duty-free shopping. People putting on their perfume in 2024 because sales of perfume up 10% at Dubai duty-free, contributing to $1.94 billion going through the tills in the first 11 months of the year. Ramesh Cidambi is with us in the studio to tell us more. He is the Managing Director of Dubai Duty Free. Ramesh, good morning.
Good morning, Richard, and good morning, Brandy. Fantastic to be here this morning, and thank you for having me on the radio.
Always a pleasure to have you. $1.94 billion for the first 11 months of this year. Not a record, but a decent year. How would you characterize it?
It is a record in the sense that we just pipped last year's number by about 2 million dirhams, which is not a lot on not a lot on 7 billion plus. But we had a fantastic month in November. It was the best month ever for a non-December month. So we did 750 million dirhams worth of sales. The 30th of November was also a record, Richard. We did 30.7 million dirhams in one day. So we had a great month, and everybody on the team did a fantastic job. We were talking earlier on the radio about Eid al-Ittihad weekend. And our staff worked through the weekend, 24 hours a day, and served more than 280,000 passengers a day during that time who went through the airport, and contributed to a record month. So I'm extremely happy with the performance, especially as I've said before, we have had challenging times. Consumer spend has been dropping. The number of people who in the shops was going down. So considering all of that, we're very happy, with November.
Let's look at the standout number from the release. And you led with perfume sales up 10%. That is very much ahead of the trend for your sales. Why perfume?
Perfumes has just been on fire. I think the perfume brands have done an excellent job in terms of design, in terms of marketing, in terms of high-profile promotions. And the category has been just doing extremely well. And whilst the fashion boutiques and the big fashion brands haven't been doing so well, so perfumes has offset the weakness that we saw with the big fashion brands on the other side. And tobacco has done very well. Gold has done well. So confectionery was another standout performer last month, especially the I Love Dubai chocolate, the Locali chocolate, with pistachio and kunafa flavors. So some of those offset some of the difficulties we saw with the big brands.
Can you give us any idea of how much of that, what the world is now calling Dubai flavor chocolate, you've moved at Dubai Duty Free?
We do about, on an average day, we do about 300,000 dirhams of revenue on that chocolate alone, between Locali and between I Love Dubai. About 180,000 a day in Locali and 120,000 a day in I Love Dubai. And we're still waiting for the third chocolate for Dubai Fix to come, because they're ramping up their production and they'll hope to supply us soon.
You talked about the challenging environment and that things like luxury clothing and accessories aren't doing particularly well. How much is that the global slowdown in luxury goods? We know that the Burberrys and the Guccis of this world are having a tough year. How much is it just the changing patterns of shopping at duty free?
The luxury business for us, Richard, is about 11% of our total business. And this year it has been down about 15%, on the 11%. November we did well in that it was only down about 4% compared to last November. But it has been a tough year for them. I do not feel that there's a secular decline in the luxury business. If you take brands like Cartier, Chanel, Dior, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, but in the last year they have suffered, I think, for two reasons. One is many of them increased prices in 2021, 2022 because they saw very strong demand at the coming out of COVID. And in general, there's been inflation, there has been higher cost of living, higher ticket prices, higher hotel rates, which has also depressed demand. But I think price increases have played a significant part. And now the luxury brands have realized it, and they are taking steps to mitigate that situation, doing things like, having newer products at a slightly lower price point and so on.
How much is it, though, Ramesh, that people just don't wait to buy products. We've got this instant delivery culture now. They're not waiting until they travel to buy something. We were discussing this morning the fact that people used to wait to buy electronics at duty free. You don't now. You need a new phone. You go and buy a new phone.
True, but equally, a lot of our buying is either treating yourself when you're traveling or you're buying for gifting. Like, for example, in the confectionery category, a lot of it is gifting. So you do it at the point of travel. You don't do it a week before at home. So we still think that part of it is solid, even though I agree that e-commerce gives you that instant gratification. But there's something, Brandy, in your brain that goes on. There's like a switch that turns on when you're traveling and you're tempted to buy something.
You've also got a bit of a captive audience. Paul Griffiths has got great plans for people to just sail through an airport without pausing to touch or hand over a single document. What would that mean for you?
It'll mean more shopping time. It'll mean less anxiety and greater dwell time. And we welcome anything that the airport does in terms of improvement in the process. Like our arrival process is fantastic. You're out of the airport in minutes. So we hope that you spend that time to come to the arrival shop and buy a few bottles on your way home.
I have to say, you mentioned that most confectionery sales is for gifting. I didn't get that memo. I eat the lot on the flight. But anyway, I should bear that in mind. Confectionery is for gifting, not for eating. So 2025, let's look ahead. What do you say? What are the tailwinds that you're facing? No, tailwinds help you. Headwinds are the ones that are the problem, to use the aviation metaphor. We've got about a minute left.
Yes, firstly, we think the passenger numbers will be higher by a couple of billion. And in terms of headwinds, that increases a bit of congestion at the airport. So we need to manage that situation and make sure that the passengers have a good experience. We are doing a lot of renovation and refurbishment of the shops. So renovation and refurbishment initially disrupt your business, but afterwards you get fantastic returns because you have a fresh retail offer. So we need to watch that situation. We need to watch what's happening with Russia and what's happening with China. Both of these segments, the growth in the sales has lagged the growth in the passenger numbers significantly.
Because Russians and Chinese
Chinese, so which are both important markets for us. The Chinese are about 9% of our business. The Russians are about 11-12% of our business. So both of these, we need to watch the gap between growth in passengers and growth in spend. And then try to provide the passengers the best experience that we can next year. But I would say renovation and these two markets would be the main headwinds that we would see.
Ramesh, it's been a good year. $1.94 billion of sales up until the end of November. You're going to smash $2 billion for the year, clearly, with the busy December month. Ramesh Cidambi, Managing Director, Dubai Duty Free. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.